day 3. Leg day today. I went to the gym, and turns out it's closed for the day. It's 8 o'clock right now. I thought the gym closed at 9. Thought I could squeeze in a quick, powerful lift, but it doesn't close at 9. It closes at 7 on Saturdays. So, that's in the vault. I'm probably never going to forget that. It's not going to be as good of a lift as it could have been in the gym, I guess, because I'm very limited with my equipment at home. But, we'll do it regardless. This is part of the process of, a lot of people, if they pulled it to the gym and it was closed, they'd probably just be like, fuck it. You know what I mean? A large part of me not saying fuck it is the fact that I'm already on pre-workout. I took 2 scoops before I left, but I think even if I wasn't on pre right now, I'd probably want to get something done regardless. I'm already in the mindset of I'm going to get a lift in, I guess one thing to talk about, just about my lifts for legs and stuff, is that there's a gaggle of kids biking down the street, screwing up traffic. One thing about my leg lifts is that they're pretty embarrassing. My legs used to be super strong compared to everything else before I really started lifting. Like when I first got into the gym, my legs were easily the strongest lifts that I performed. Leg day was really fun just because, that was the one time that I could do exercises and see the pin actually go further down on the weight stack than, the top half. Sounds stupid, but it's nice to be able to pump out weight. Legs felt good. But I played lacrosse growing up, and I was very active as a lacrosse player throughout the year. And my leg exercises kind of revolved around my lacrosse. Excuses. Just the people that I had trained with never really took legs too seriously. I had that gym bro mentality, kind of just like, it's okay to skip legs, chest, arms, more important type of stuff. Legs, your general leg strength, the more you can squat, is going to equate to your numbers increasing across the board. So my leg lifts are definitely embarrassing right now, but that's part of the initial embarrassment. Hopefully, a year from now, I can look back at my leg lifts and laugh because I've come so far, but that only comes through consistency. So let's do it. I guess one positive is that I'll be able to talk to you guys during and in between sets before my mic gets here, which should be in time for the next video. But yeah, let's just get into it. So, like I said, big drawback, gonna do what I can here. I'm probably gonna do some leg focused deadlifting, maybe with some body weight squats, holding something, just to feel something, anything. So those definitely felt more okay than they looked. Getting actually kind of eaten up out of here, and the light that I'm using is attracting a lot of bugs. And then, also me lifting, pumping out CO2, that's not helping either. One thing I noticed just watching that back is that my deadlifts are very, I don't know, like my back's hanging over my feet such that it just looks like if I were to put a lot of weight on it, it would be compromising. So what I'm gonna do is kind of just orient the deadlift so that I'm really just doing an RDL. Really get as much of my hamstrings, my glutes going as I can. I could feel the bugs tapping in. I've been trying to think of what else I could do besides these RDLs to really make sure that my legs are targeted. And I'm having a hard time. There's a little like leg extension thing on the bench that's in my garage, but it's not really optimal. You don't really get a good squeeze. I might end up using it just because I don't have a lot of options. I guess one thing about these, I went up to 185, which it's not a lot of weight at all. But when you're especially when you're targeting specific areas, when you're doing certain lifts that you're not an expert on already, you should, and some people might argue against this, you should be targeting strength over hypertrophy to start. And if I remember, I'll get into that a little bit afterwards. But it's all about what you're trying to go for. Yes. Oh, the hammies are tight. Oh. So even though I literally just talked about this, I got like, I don't know, I don't remember what I counted, but I think like 8 reps, something like that on 185, which is, if you're looking to gain strength, if you're looking to go up on a lift and you're getting 8 reps, 8 solid reps where you're not cheating, and you feel like you could cheat for more, you got to go up. Your heavy set, if the goal is to lift more weight, you want to aim in the 2 to 3 rep range, which might sound a little crazy, but like if you want to pull 3 plates off the floor, it'll come faster from doing however much you can handle for 2 to 3 than it would to do 20 reps with a plate. So that being said, let's continue to burn out the hammies. Oh, jeez. Oh, well, that looked better than that felt. Yeah, so with what I said the last set, with that being said, and I didn't really go into what I was trying to say, I would be going up in weight if I had more weight accessible. where the plates are right now, and with the burn that I can get from just going back and forth and doing 185, I'd rather just get the reps and be able to get the squeeze in my hamstrings than I would to do the strength thing that I was just talking about. Which is, it's a little bit of a cop-out, but trust me, if I had the, you know, the weight tree, the racks that you put the weights back on at the gym, I would be, you know, a little less hesitant to change the weights. We'll do one more here, maybe drop set it, maybe drop back down to a plate. Oh. All right, one more set of RDLs, Romanian deadlifts, straight-legged deadlifts, whatever you want to call them. And just because there's not a lot of options, I'll be doing some things on my little contraption in the gym. I mean, in the garage. Shouldn't really call it a gym, but we're in the gym mindset. Try and burn out, really focus on actually getting the squeeze in the hamstrings on these. All right. So, like I had mentioned before, this little bench thing I have here has a little, it's kind of like a curl extension combination, I think. So you can like flip it around and it does extensions. I might be wrong actually. Yeah, I'm wrong actually. I have a different little bench thing that has like a little extension piece. This is just for curls, which I'll bang out maybe, I don't know, maybe 2 sets, 3 sets, see how it feels out. Can't remember the last time I did these in here. Oh. But since we already hit RDLs, it should be easy enough to target squeeze on the hamstrings at least. Yeah, like this is like, feeling pretty heavy. Wow. So squeeze the top is not optimal. Shit. All right, that didn't feel too bad. So, for one thing, as suboptimal as this might be, you know, sometimes these types of lifts are good for you. My lower back, really probably just my core in general, my lower back, my glutes, my hamstrings, are really lacking functional strength compared to a lot of other things. And so, you know, being in here, it's not like I can't get it done, you know what I mean? I'm still challenging myself. You know, I'm pretty sweaty. I think a lot of that's just being outside. It's pretty humid and hot out here. But, you know, I'm gonna get a pretty sick hamstring pump. At least, I don't know if I could say the same for my quads, and I can't say the same for my calves, but it's way better than nothing, man. And, like I said, it's just, it's a little bit of an ego check. One thing I'll get more into when I'm done with the lift is the fact that, your what is that fucking called? Your nervous system. I was gonna say your neuron system. Your nervous system reigns supreme. You can, if you don't already know, you should look into the work of Andrew Huberman. He's a Stanford professor. He's a doctor. Talks about how important the nervous system is in terms of fitness and strength and overall the basic idea that me moving around my hand just like this right now, my brain's sending off signals through neurons. It all comes down to the nervous system. You know what I mean? And so the reason I bring all that up is, sometimes you gotta keep the ego in check in the sense that you're pushing the weight that your muscles can properly squeeze and contract to be able to get that maximum amount of work done. Work equals force times distance. I'll get into all that in a different segment, but you want to be pushing as much weight as your muscles can actually handle, not fucking throwing it so that the momentum's moving it and then you're not getting the muscle engagement. You get what I'm saying. You probably already know this stuff, but it's good to be reminded. Let's burn out with this. I might drop set it just because I've been waiting so long in between sets. So I said I wasn't going to get into it, then I kind of did. But whatever. If you see another person, whether it's your training partner, somebody you just see in the gym that you envy, somebody you see online that you envy, if they're doing something different from your routine, you try it out, it may be for you, it may not be for you in terms of what's optimal. I just saw it was like an Instagram reel or like a TikTok, it was on Instagram, of Tom Platz. He was talking about how when he first moved out to California to compete and stuff, he would train with Arnold and train 6 days a week, twice a day. And he followed all the other things that Arnold did even outside of the gym, like his diet and his other lifestyle choices. And Tom Platz said that he got fat and weak, and that he stopped training with Arnold, went back into the gym on his own a few weeks later, and went back to doing what he was used to doing, and realized oh, I'm not going to be Arnold if I train 6 days a week, twice a day. That's not what works for me. If I train 4 days a week, if Tom Platz trains 4 days a week, then he could be what he turned out to be. I think you get what I'm saying. Try things out. I've been trying out less sets. Typically, I'll do at least 20 sets for a muscle group. I've been trying to knock that down to more about 12. And I'm not too sure if it's working for me, honestly. I'm going to give it a little more time. Part of it was I started working out at a new gym right when I started trying all these things. And also went back from doing, going back and forth from, say, arm day, bicep and then tricep, to doing all my bicep exercises and then all my tricep exercises. So I guess I'm going to do one more set here just because my hamstrings still feel, they don't feel fried yet. So I want to try and fry them out before we go into quads. Actually, they're starting to feel a little toasty. So this little maneuver was quite a pain. I had to grab this bench from like over in my yard, like on the grass. And I had to dig this bad boy out of my garage. Looks like I'm gonna have to get some tools to get this together. So it turns out I won't be doing quad extensions. This thing is just way too gross, honestly. And so what I will be doing is lunges. Good to go. I know I'm gonna get some mosquito bites out here, but I hate to get a spider bite. Oh, yeah. So when it comes to lunges, you know, some people, they walk and turn back and forth. I think a lot of that's just a result of the constraint of distance that you can walk one way. And what I'm doing, obviously you saw it in the first clip, is kind of just walking straight. And the camera doesn't capture, but I have a pretty long driveway. And I'm just, you know, walking one direction until I fail on the lunges instead of turning back and forth. I don't know. Do them however you're going to get them done. So I'm going to do a couple more, maybe 3 more sets of these lunges here, but I'm going to start to superset them with like bodyweight sissy squats. Just to be able to, I don't know, get my quads firing a little bit. Don't bang your knees on the floor. Ooh, especially if you're walking on a hard surface. So not really a superset for this first one here, but I'm just going to burn out on sissy squats. The whole point of these is you really want to make your quads do all the work. It's not a beginner movement, but don't be afraid to do it if you are one. Almost done. You really want to keep the burn within a concise time window. You don't want to be working out for hours and hours. These dumbbells are feeling a lot heavier than they did when I first picked them up, I'll tell you that. And now this is a little more of a superset. See, I did that, don't drop. Nice and controlled. Oh, don't let momentum take over. Oh. So I'm taking a little shorter rest periods at this point. One more superset of these, maybe one more set of RDLs, and then I'm calling it. Making it like halfway the distance I did at the start. Just trying to show you guys the depth on these. I'm definitely crapping out. All right, so I lied. I'm gonna do one more superset of the lunges. You know, you're not a failure in the gym if you're going to failure. That's how you know you're succeeding. Okay. Let's go check the pump. All right, well, I said it was going to be embarrassing, so I guess let's just face the music. Pretty crazy leg day today, honestly, for how shitty my leg days usually are. This is, you know, something that I am kind of ashamed to do here, but this is what the leg pump looks like right now. I've always had real skinny legs, like real skinny. And like I had mentioned earlier, I never really, you know, focused on actually doing legs. So I kind of let them, you know, let them suffer quite a bit. Like I said, I feel pretty ashamed just sitting in front of the camera like this, but you know, this is reality. Harsh reality. Let me get this tape out of the way. Oh God, that makes it worse. Yeah, I mean, geez, dude. That's pretty sad. All right, so day 3 done and in the books. You know, plenty of things that I guess I could talk about to start. You know, like I had mentioned before with the nervous system, Jesus Christ, is, you know, like I had mentioned, it reigns supreme, right? If you're trying to squat, just for an example, and you're trying to engage the different parts of your body to be able to, you know, solidly go down, go up, push a decent amount of weight, keep your core engaged, feel your legs firing, all of that, you're establishing a mind-muscle connection. That, what they call a mind-muscle connection, that's just your nervous system. You're literally training your neurons, and you're training your nervous system to be able to, you know, squeeze your hand and make your bicep flex, or like, you know, flex your traps, or, you know, your lats or your chest, you know, to be able to, you know, and mentioning Andrew Huberman before, he talks about it from time to time. If you like go from top to bottom of your body and march around your body, right, try to independently contract all of your muscles, that's the better you are at doing that, the better equipped your nervous system is to be able to lift. Does that make sense? So, like I had mentioned before, if you're trying to push all these crazy weights, if you're pushing weight that, you know, might be outside of what's optimal for muscle engagement, muscle contraction, you know, you want to find that balance, because like I had mentioned before, if you're going for strength, if you want to bench more, right? If you want to go from benching 135 to benching 225, probably the most optimal way to get there is to be doing sets where you're doing like 8 reps, 12 reps, being able to control the weight on the eccentric and concentric completely, right? But you're also, in the majority of what you're going to want to be doing is pushing like upwards of 70 to 95% of your 1 rep max. You're going to want to be pushing and engaging your entire system. Or really, I mean, it's kind of just for any lift. You want to be engaging to the point where you're almost compromising your form. You're almost not getting proper engagement of the muscles in order to move the weight. That is where the ability to push more weight the right way comes in, right? Like I said, you're not going to get to be deadlifting 315 by deadlifting 1 plate for 20 reps over and over again. I mean, maybe you can. I don't even know if that's ever been done, but you get what I'm saying. On the flip side, if you're having a tough time establishing that, optimal level of contraction, right? Check your ego, drop the weights. Do something to where you're going to get into that optimal rep range for whatever it is you're doing. With legs, I want to be loading up plates on plates on the squat. It's embarrassing when I go into the gym and I'm pushing less than a lot of the girls do, looking the way that I do, haven't been lifting for as long as I have, right? I could compare myself to the other people that are in the gym, but that's not going to serve me any benefit unless I take bits and pieces of what I should be from other people. You know what I mean? Like, you see the biggest guy in the gym, you want to soak up the information, but you don't need to be doing exactly what he's doing. Think back to what I was talking about with Tom Platz. Right, the Tom Platz example is a good one because no matter where you're at in your fitness journey, or no matter where you're trying to go, you really should only be focused on your shadow. To, I guess, further clarify my point, I've been working out a pretty long time. I've been in the gym pretty consistently since I was 16. That's about 9.5 years now, 25. And, there's plenty of people who have been lifting way, way, way shorter of a time than I have been lifting. And they're much more impressive. They're much further along in terms of their lifts, their physique, whatever, any of the metrics that you take for fitness. I'm sure there are people who have never stepped foot in a gym who can outperform me in certain facets, right? But that's not what matters. What matters is that I'm not satisfied with how far I've come yet because I feel like I have not actualized my potential when it comes to fitness, regardless of what other people are doing in the gym, regardless of whether or not you look at me and you see me as a goal to attain, in which it flatters me if that's the case, but that's a goal that you should crush and continue to soar past in pursuit of the real goals. You know what I'm saying? The only reason I bring up my lifting career and how long I've been in the gym consistently is because if I had been on an upwards trajectory this entire time, if I had been doing what I feel is the proper form, exercises, protocol, whatever you want to say, I'd probably be a lot further along. So it feels a little bit like time wasted. And like I'd mentioned before, a big part of this whole series is a little bit of a kick in the pants, a little bit of a kickstart in holding myself accountable and making sure that I cover all of my bases. A lot of people, especially in the fitness industry nowadays, have created a culture of unattainable goals influencers nowadays, not to blame any one person, influencers nowadays with the gym talk, with the new era of bodybuilding, like I said, I'm not going to say any names, the notion of the idea of what's naturally attainable for the average individual has become greatly distorted, okay? It's something that a lot of other people have talked about, but I feel that it goes by the wayside much too often. I've never taken anything. In the first video, it sounded kind of stupid. I was like, maybe protein and creatine. That's all that I've ever taken. I've definitely taken protein and creatine. I've taken BCAAs. I've, through different pre-workouts and stuff, I've never taken it individually, but like, glutamine or, citrulline, all the different things that might, pump up your muscles in some capacity. But I've never been on any performance enhancers. The reason I say that is because even with my somewhat modest physique, I've been accused by peers, especially just given how small I used to be. I've been accused by people of taking performance enhancers. And the amount of people that are around me, my peers, people that I went to school with, people that I trained with, close friends of mine, buddies of mine even, an astonishing percentage of people who consistently go to the gym take one type of performance enhancing drug or another, whether or not they're anabolics, whether or not they're illegal, whether or not they revoke your natty card. Okay, that's a little bit of a different conversation. It varies from person to person. But the amount of friends that I had that were on SARMs, on HGH, on even just straight up anabolics, and would lie to your face about it right after they had walked out of the locker room and used, lie to their significant others and their family members and stuff. The reason I bring that up is the level of transparency around performance enhancement in the fitness industry is so all-encompassing. It's so all-encompassing. The lack of transparency. It's so bad that you might be talking to people in the gym and you're impressed with, their level of fitness, and they're just straight up juicing. I don't want to make it sound like using performance enhancements are a bad thing, okay? That's a very complicated conversation. Very complicated. I could do a whole podcast about it, which I'm sure nobody would want to listen to. What I will say, though, is what you do in the gym, the amount of work that you put in to see results, nobody can take that away from you. A lot of people, just whether it's due to the climate of performance-enhancing drugs, whether it's the embarrassment, whether it's the fact that, like I'd mentioned with the cultures, people take away the work that you put in to look how you do just because you take steroids, right? People have a fundamentally wrong idea about how steroids work, and this ties back into what's naturally attainable. The water gets muddied when you're not providing proper clarification for things that, most people never really get into in terms of lifestyle. This whole gym thing, working out to the point where you can see significant transformations in your body, most people never do that. And so it's not clear to most people who don't educate themselves and become knowledgeable, that basically everybody at a certain point is on juice.
Okay, and like I said, other people have talked about this. Most people, in one form or another, are up to something, okay? Where there's smoke, there's fire, unfortunately. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. And if there was more transparency, this wouldn't even be a big deal because you could say that you're cycling. I respect there's a lot of people out there, influencers nowadays, who are completely honest about what they're doing, what they're on, right? I think that is where this industry needs to head towards. We don't need another Liver King. I think the Liver King example is tantamount. I mean, the amount of people who believe that he wasn't juicing, it's insane. There's maybe, and this is probably very generous, there's maybe a few hundred people walking around on Earth right now who can look like Liver King without taking performance-enhancing drugs in one form or another, okay? I don't mean to say that's just a straight-up guess, but you get what I'm saying. The percentage of people who can naturally attain a Liver King physique, a Sam Sulek physique, it almost doesn't exist. And that's part of what I think people don't realize with the whole, oh, taking steroids immediately is like, you're a cheater, the work that you put into the gym doesn't matter. You look at somebody like Ronnie Coleman. I could take steroids for the rest of my life. I'm not going to look like Ronnie Coleman, right? Most of us are never going to. That's why there's only one Mr. Olympia every year out of all of the people that are taking the stuff and putting the work in the gym. I don't know. I think I've ranted enough about that. Legs were pretty good in the backyard, so I don't really have too many complaints there. I'm going to take a rest day tomorrow just in order to get my schedule straightened out. The gym closes at 5 on Sundays, so that way, I'll get a full day of eating in, actually maintain a caloric surplus for a day, which, I don't know which day of this bulk's going to actually be day one, but I'll talk about it once I actually feel like I'm gaining weight and maintaining surplus. But rest day tomorrow in order to sort everything out and be firing on all cylinders on Monday. So we'll catch you back here for chest. See you later.